Sir, your daughter is alive. Give me something of hers for my dog to track. Julian Alexander Mendoza leaned his forehead against the cool marble headstone as his tears fell onto the gray stone. 2 years had passed since his life was turned upside down, but the pain remained as intense as the first day. It was then that he felt a light tap on his shoulder. Turning, he saw a boy of about 12, wearing a faded cap and simple clothes. Beside him, a medium-sized white dog wagged her tail and watched him with intelligent eyes. "Are you Jiamin's father?" the boy asked with a firm voice. Julian was startled. How did this child know his daughter's name? "Sir, your daughter is alive. Give me something of hers for my dog to track," the boy said bluntly, pointing to the dog. "Are you crazy, boy?" Julian stood up abruptly, feeling a mix of rage and desperation. "My daughter is here, buried 2 years ago. How dare you come here?" "And she liked drawing butterflies, didn't she?" the boy interrupted. "And she had a doll named Bonbon that she carried everywhere." Julian froze. Those details weren't anywhere, not in the newspapers that covered the case, nor in official documents. "Who are you?" he whispered. "My name is Lian, but you can call me Lee." "This is Luna," he said, stroking the dog. We look for people." "People?" Julian repeated, still confused. "Missing people. Luna has a very good sense of smell. She was trained by a gentleman who used to work for the police, Mr. Tan. He lives in my estate." Julian looked at the boy with a mix of disbelief and something he hadn't felt in a long time, hope. But he quickly pushed that feeling away. He couldn't allow himself to believe again. "My daughter didn't go missing. She passed away in an accident. I myself saw when they brought her body from the hospital." "Are you sure?" Lian crossed his arms. "Did you see her face?" Julian hesitated. The truth was, he couldn't look. The casket was closed. They said it was better that way, that it would preserve his last memories of the little girl. "Look, I know it must be hard to believe, but Luna sniffed around here yesterday and became very agitated near this grave. She only gets like that when she smells someone who is still breathing." Julian felt his legs tremble. It couldn't be true. 2 years of mourning, of guilt, of a life that had become just a succession of empty days. "How do you know these things about Jiamin?" he asked, trying to keep his voice steady. "Because I saw her, sir. I think I saw her. About 3 months ago, I was with Luna looking for Auntie Martha's cat, which had escaped when we passed by a house in the Serangoon Garden Estate. Luna stopped in front of the gate and started whimpering. I looked and saw a blonde little girl playing in the yard. A blonde girl." Julian felt his heart race. She was alone, drawing on the ground with a stick. When she saw me, she waved. I waved back, but then a woman came out of the house and quickly pulled her inside. The woman looked at me with fear in her eyes. "Are you sure it was her?" "That's why I need something of yours, sir. Luna can distinguish the smell of each person, even if a lot of time passes. If it's really her, Luna will know." Julian ran his hands through his graying hair. At 42, he seemed to have aged a decade since he lost Jiamin, or since he thought he had lost her. Even if it were true. "What do you want in return?" "Nothing, Sir Lee," and lowered his gaze. "I also lost someone, my older sister Fiona. She disappeared 4 years ago when she was 15. They never found her. I promised I would help other families find those they lost." The sincerity in the boy's voice touched something deep in Julian's chest. He looked again towards the headstone, towards the photo of Jiamin, smiling at just 6 years old. "How did you know I come here?" "I work at the cemetery sometimes, helping Uncle Chu with maintenance." "You come here every Sunday since I started working here." "It took me a while to gather the courage to talk to you." Julian observed the boy more closely. He was thin, with features that betrayed a difficult life, but his eyes shone with a determination that Julian recognized. It was the same determination he himself had when he was young, building his business from scratch. "If I give your dog her clothes, what happens next? If Luna confirms it's your daughter's scent, we'll follow the trail wherever it leads us. Luna can track old scents, but the fresher, the better. And if it's not her, then I apologize for giving you false hope, and I'll leave." Julian closed his eyes and took a deep breath. 2 years living in darkness, accepting a version of events that never quite convinced him. Perhaps it was time to seek the truth, even if it hurt even more. "Where do you live?" "In the Bukit Panjang HDB estate, sir. I live with my grandmother, MDM, Lim." "And that's your police friend?" "Mr. Tan lives on the street below. He taught Luna how to track. He said she has natural talent." Julian made a decision that would change everything. "All right, I'll go get something of hers, but if this is some kind of trick... It's not a trick, sir. I just want to help. 40 minutes later, Julian parked his black Mercedes-Benz sedan in front of the house where he had lived alone since the separation, the house that had become a mausoleum for Jiamin's memories. The girl's room remained exactly as she left it on the morning of that fateful Sunday. Toys scattered, drawings taped to the wall. The bed still unmade as if she would return at any moment to sleep. Julian opened the wardrobe and took out the blue dress with yellow flowers that was Jiamin's favorite. She insisted on wearing it at least once a week. It still held a faint scent of the children's soap she used. When he returned to the cemetery, Lian and Luna were waiting patiently under a tree. The boy stood up as soon as he saw him approach. I brought it, Julian said, handing over the dress. Lian took the clothing carefully and offered it to Luna to smell. The dog sniffed intensely, then raised her head and began to wag her tail with excitement. She recognized it. Lian smiled. Luna only gets like this when she finds the scent she's looking for. And now we're going to Serangoon Garden Estate. Luna, search. The dog immediately lowered her snout and began to sniff the ground around the grave. After a few minutes, she barked once and started walking towards the cemetery exit. Julian felt his heart race. Was it possible that his daughter was alive after 2 years of believing she was gone forever? They followed Luna through the city streets. The dog seemed determined, stopping occasionally to sniff lampposts and corners, but always resuming a specific direction. How did you learn about tracking people? Julian asked as they walked. When my sister disappeared, I went crazy looking for her. Mr. Tan saw me crying one day and said he could teach me some things. He had a dog before Luna, named Star, who specialized in that. What happened to her? She got old and passed on. So he trained Luna. He said she had even more talent than Star. They walked for almost an hour until they reached Serangoon Garden Estate, a middle-class residential area with simple houses and narrow streets. Luna led them several blocks until she stopped in front of a yellow house with white gates. It's here, Lian said. It's in this house where I saw the girl. Julian looked at the building. It was a common house, with a small front garden and clothes hanging in the yard. Luna was visibly agitated, sniffing intensely at the gate and barking softly. Are you sure? Luna doesn't make mistakes. If she's like this, it's because your daughter's scent is strong here. Julian approached the gate and looked through the bars. The yard was empty, but he could see scattered toys, a doll, some colored pencils, a drawing pad. His heart almost stopped when he saw a drawing taped to the refrigerator that was visible through the back door. It was a drawing of a butterfly, exactly like the ones Jiamin used to make. I need to get in there, he said with a trembling voice. Calm down, sir. You can't just invade. We'll knock on the door and talk to whoever lives here. Julian took a deep breath, trying to control his anxiety. Lian was right. He needed to keep calm. They knocked on the main door. After a few minutes, a woman of about 50 appeared. She had gray hair pulled back in a bun and wore a floral apron. Good afternoon, the woman said, looking suspiciously at the two. Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Julian. This is Lian. We are looking for my daughter who disappeared 2 years ago. The woman visibly paled. I'm sorry, but I can't help. Only my husband and I live here. Would you mind if our dog sniffed around a bit? Lian showed Luna, who was still agitated. She's trained to find people. No, you can't. You need to leave. The woman tried to close the door, but Julian stopped her. Please, just 1 minute. If there's nothing here, we'll leave and won't bother you anymore. I said no. You have no right to be here. At that moment, a child's voice shouted from inside the house. Auntie Stella, can I play in the yard? Julian felt all strength leave his body. It was Jiamin's voice. He would recognize that voice anywhere in the world. Jiamin, he shouted. Jiamin, it's your dad. The woman tried to close the door with force, but Julian pushed it open and entered the house. Jiamin, Jiamin, where are you? He ran through the living room, checking all the rooms. Lian followed him with Luna, who barked louder and louder. Get out of my house, I'm calling the police, the woman screamed. Julian opened the door to one of the rooms, and his life changed forever. There she was, Jiamin, his little girl, alive, sitting on the bed playing with a doll he didn't recognize. When she saw him, her eyes widened. Dad? She said, as if she couldn't believe what she saw. My daughter. Julian fell to his knees and hugged her tightly, crying as he had never cried in his life. My daughter, you're alive. You're alive. Jiamin hugged him back, but Julian noticed she seemed confused, scared. Dad, why didn't you come for me sooner? Auntie Stella said you didn't love me anymore. Julian felt a murderous rage rise in his chest, but he forced himself to remain calm for Jiamin. That's not true, my love. Dad looked for you every day. Every day. But Mummy said... What did Mummy say? She said you were busy and that I had to stay here with Auntie Stella for a while. Julian looked at Lian, who was watching everything with tearful eyes. Then he looked at the woman who was leaning against the wall, visibly terrified. Where's my ex-wife? I don't know. She brought the child here and said it was temporary. That was almost 2 years ago. Temporary? Julian stood up, still carrying Jiamin in his arms. And you thought it was normal for a mother to leave her daughter with a stranger for 2 years? She paid well, and said she had problems with you, that you were violent. Violent? Julian almost screamed. I never laid a hand on my daughter or my ex-wife. Jiamin began to cry, frightened by the loud voices. It's all right, my love, Julian comforted her. Dad isn't angry with you. Dad is very happy to have found you. Sir, Lian approached. I think it's better if we leave here and take Jiamin home. Then we can resolve the rest. Julian nodded. The priority was to get his daughter out of there and take her to a safe place. Jiamin, do you want to go home with Dad? Can I take Bonbon? She asked, showing a different doll than he remembered. Of course, my love. You can take anything you want. While Jiamin gathered her things, Julian turned to the woman. What is your name? Stella. Stella Garcia. Stella. I'm going to find out the whole truth about this. You're going to tell me everything you know, but right now I just want to take my daughter home. Please, don't report me. I was just helping. Your ex-wife said it was only for a while. Where can I find her? I don't know. She changed her phone number months ago. She only showed up here occasionally to see the child. Julian took Jiamin in his arms again and headed for the door. Lian accompanied him with Luna. Thank you, Julian told Lian as they left the house. If it weren't for you, I would never have found my daughter. I told you I would help you, sir. How can I repay you for this? You don't need to repay me for anything. Just take good care of her. Julian looked at the 2-year-old boy who had changed his life forever. A child who, despite his young age and difficulties, dedicated his time to helping others. Lian, do you have a place to stay? Yes, sir. I live with my grandmother, and she's in good health more or less, but she can't work much. Julian had an idea. How about you and your grandmother come live with me and Jiamin? My house is big, there's enough space, and Jiamin will need friends after everything that happened. Lian beamed an enormous smile. Seriously, sir? Very seriously. You are family now. On the way back home, Jiamin fell asleep in the back seat of the car. Julian drove in silence, still processing everything that had happened. His daughter was alive. After 2 years of mourning, she was alive and safe. But now he needed to understand what had really happened. Why did Patricia, his ex-wife, do this? Why did they fake Jiamin's death? And more importantly, who else was involved in this charade? When they arrived home, Julian put Jiamin to sleep in her own room. She was exhausted and confused. She needed time to process everything. Lian, do you want to call your grandmother and tell her about the move? Can I use your phone? Julian handed the device to the boy and went to the kitchen to prepare something to eat. His head was racing at 1,000 miles an hour. He needed to make some important decisions. First, he was going to find a lawyer. Second, he was going to hire a private investigator to uncover the whole truth. Third, he was going to find his ex-wife and demand an explanation. But first and foremost, he needed to take care of Jiamin. She would probably need psychological support after everything she had been through. Mr. Julian. Lian entered the kitchen. My grandmother wants to talk to you. Julian took the phone. Hello, good evening. This is Guadalupe, Lian's grandmother. He told me what happened. Are you sure about your proposal, sir? Absolutely. MDM. Lim. Lian saved my life today. It's the least I can do. But we are simple people, sir. We don't want to bother you. You won't bother me at all. In fact, you'll help me a lot. My daughter will need affection and attention, and I need to work to support the family. In that case, I accept. When can we move? Whenever you want. Even tomorrow, if possible. After hanging up, Julian looked at Lian. Your grandmother accepted. Thank you, Mr. Julian. You are changing our lives. You are the ones who changed mine. That night, Julian couldn't sleep. He sat on the armchair beside the bed, watching Jiamin breathe. It still seemed unreal that she was there, alive and safe. In the morning, she woke up startled, as if it had all been a dream. Dad, I'm here, my love. Can I stay with you now? Forever, my daughter. We will never be separated again. And Mummy? Julian hesitated. How to explain to an 8-year-old girl that her own mother abandoned her? Mummy. She did some bad things, but the important thing is that you're with me now. She doesn't love me anymore? I don't know, my love, but I love you very much and I always will. Jiamin nodded and snuggled into her father's arms. Julian felt he had a lot of work ahead to rebuild his daughter's trust and security. Later that morning, Lian arrived with his grandmother, Meblam Lim, a short and smiling 70-year-old lady. Nice to meet you, Mr. Julian. Thank you for opening your home to us. The pleasure is mine, MDM Lim. The house became very empty after I thought I had lost my daughter. Jiamin hid behind her father when she saw the visitors. Jiamin, these are our new friends. This is Lian, who helped me find you, and this is Grandma Lim. Lian knelt down to the girl's height. Hello, Jiamin. Do you remember me? She shook her head negatively. Luna and I looked for you for a long time. Your dad cried a lot because he missed you. Is that true? She looked at Julian. It's true, my love. Dad cried every day. I'm sorry, Dad. I didn't want you to be sad. Julian felt his eyes well up again. You are not to blame for anything, Jiamin. None of this was your fault. Medium. Lim slowly approached. What a beautiful girl. Lian told me you like to draw butterflies. Jiamin nodded timidly. Do you want to draw with me? I also know how to make butterflies. For the first time since he found her, Julian saw Jiamin smile. The following days were days of adaptation. Jiamin was clearly traumatized, but little by little she began to open up to the new family. Lian was fundamental in this process, as he was close to her age and managed to communicate in a way that adults could not. Julian scheduled an appointment with a child psychologist and began the investigation into what had really happened 2 years ago. He hired Vikram Singh, a private investigator recommended by his lawyer. Vikram was a former police officer with experience in missing persons cases. Mr. Julian, I'm going to need all the details about the day your daughter supposedly passed away. Julian recounted everything he remembered. Patricia had called hysterically, saying that Jiamin had suffered an accident and had been taken to the hospital. When he arrived there, she was in the ICU. Hours later, the doctors came out and said she hadn't made it. Did you see the body? No. Patricia said it was better that I kept the last good memories of Jiamin, and the funeral had a closed casket. Patricia organized everything. I was in shock. I let her take care of all the details. Are you sure there was a body in the casket? Julian felt a chill. No, I never thought about that. How did she manage to falsify the situation at the hospital? We're going to find out. I need the names of all the doctors and nurses involved. Julian passed on all the information he had. Vikram promised to start the investigation immediately. 2 days later, Vikram called with the first discoveries. Mr. Julian, I found something interesting. The doctor who signed the certificate, Dr. Suresh Nathan, was dismissed from the hospital 3 months after your daughter's case. Why? Irregularities in documentation. Suspicion of falsification of reports. Did you manage to speak with him? Not yet, but I've already located where he's working now. It's in a private clinic in the Central District. And the nurses? One of them, Lily Balakrishnan, resigned around the same time. I got her address. Julian felt they were on the right track. When can we speak with them? Tomorrow morning, if you wish. The next morning, Julian and Vikram went to Lily Balakrishnan's house. It was a simple residence in an HDB estate. Lily, a woman in her 40s, answered the door with a face that looked like she hadn't slept well in a long time. Lily Balakrishnan? Vikram asked. Yes. What do you want? We are investigators. We are looking into irregularities at Sacred Heart Hospital related to cases from 2 years ago. The woman paled. I have nothing to say. Lily. Julian approached. My name is Julian Mendoza. You cared for my daughter Jiamin the day she supposedly passed away. I don't remember. Please. Julian took a photo of Jiamin from his pocket. We just want to understand what happened. My daughter is alive. We found her a week ago. Lily looked at the photo and began to tremble. She's alive? Yes, please tell me what happened that day. Lily looked around as if checking that no one was watching them. Come in quickly. They entered the simple living room. Lily offered coffee and sat on an old armchair. I knew this day would come, she said, sighing deeply. What happened, Lily? Dr. Suresh sought me out that morning. He said I would earn $5,000 if I helped him in a special case. Special? How? He said a mother was desperate to hide her daughter from her violent ex-husband and that the only way was to fake the child's death. And you believed him? At that time, yes. He showed me photos of an injured woman. He said the ex-husband would continue to beat her and the daughter if they didn't do something drastic. What photos? Photos of Patricia with bruises on her face and arms. Julian felt his blood run cold. Patricia always knew he would never lay a hand on her or Jiamin. The photos were fake. And what was your role in this? I had to confirm Dr. Suresh's version when you arrived at the hospital. Say that the child had suffered serious injuries and did not survive. But there was no child. No. Patricia brought Jiamin to the hospital, but they left through the back door while you entered through the front. And then Dr. Suresh falsified all the documents, certificate, medical report, everything. The funeral casket was empty. Julian felt like vomiting. 2 years of his life thrown away by such an elaborate lie. Why are you telling me this now? Because I can no longer live with this guilt. And because if the child is alive, she deserves to be with her true father. Do you know where I can find Dr. Suresh? He works at a clinic in the Novena area, Renewal Clinic. Vikram wrote down all the information. Lily, would you have the courage to repeat this in an official statement? If it's to do justice. Yes. They left Lily's house and went directly to the Renewal Clinic. Julian was determined to hear Dr. Suresh's version. The clinic was small but well maintained. At reception, they asked to speak with Dr. Suresh Nathan. He's in consultation. Do you have an appointment? It's urgent, Vikram said, showing his investigator's badge. It's about an old case. The receptionist became nervous and went to call the doctor. Dr. Suresh appeared a few minutes later. He was a man in his 50s, graying hair and framed glasses. How can I help you? Dr. Suresh, I need to speak with you about Jiamin Mendoza, Julian said. The doctor froze for a few seconds, then composed himself. I don't know what you're talking about, sir. Vikram approached. We've already spoken with Lily Balakrishnan. We know about the whole scheme, Doctor. Doctor. Suresh looked around. He saw that other patients were listening to the conversation. Let's talk in my office. They followed the doctor to a small room at the back of the clinic. What do you want? The truth, Julian said. Why did you help my ex-wife fake my daughter's passing? Look, I had no choice. She said you were violent, that you hit her and the child. That's a lie. How could I know? She had proof, photos of the injuries, fake photos. I never laid a hand on my family. Doctor. Suresh lowered his head. She offered me $20,000. I was going through financial difficulties at the time, and it didn't occur to you to verify if the story was true? She seemed desperate and said it was only temporary, that in a few months she would resurrect the child and move to another country. But that was 2 years ago. I know. After doing that, she disappeared. Changed her phone number. I couldn't contact her anymore. Where can I find her? I have no idea. The last I heard of her was a year ago. An acquaintance said she was living with a man in Kuala Lumpur. What man? I don't know his name. I only know he has money, and he doesn't like children. Julian began to understand the situation. Patricia had found a relationship with someone who didn't accept Yamin. Instead of losing the man, she preferred to abandon her daughter. Doctor, do you have any idea what you did? You destroyed my life for 2 years. I know, and I regret it every day. If it helps, I can sign a full confession. Vikram took out a paper and pen. You can start writing. While Dr. Suresh drafted the confession, Julian called his lawyer, Mr. Lee, and told him everything he had discovered. Julian, with these confessions, you have enough material to sue both Patricia and those involved in the scheme. What I want now is to find Patricia and demand that she explain all of this to me personally. I'm going to hire an investigator in Kuala Lumpur to locate her. Thank you, Mr. Lee. Any news, call me. Julian hung up and turned to Vikram. Did we get enough material? More than enough. With Lily's and Dr. Suresh's testimonies, we can prove the whole farce. And now we're going back home and to take care of Jiamin. The rest will be resolved little by little. When they arrived home, Julian found a heartwarming scene. Jiamin, Lian, and Midaim. Lim were in the living room, drawing together. Luna slept at Jiamin's feet. Dad! Jiamin ran to hug him. Look what I drew. It was a drawing of the new family. Julian, Jiamin, Lian, Mdiem, Lim, and Luna, all holding hands in front of a house. It's beautiful, my love. Grandma Lim taught me how to draw people, and Lian told me how Luna found me. And what did you think of that story? I thought Luna is very smart. She's my friend now. Julian looked at Lian and MDM. Lim with gratitude. In 1 week, they had become the family Jiamin needed. MDM. Lim, how was your day? Very good, Mr. Julian. Jiamin is a very sweet girl. We talked a lot. What did you talk about? About life at Auntie Stella's house. It seems she wasn't bad, just scared by the situation. Jiamin told me Auntie Stella always said that soon Mummy would come for her. And did you want Mummy to come? Jiamin lowered her gaze. I wanted her to come, but I still wanted you to come even more, Dad. Why, my love? Because I always remembered you, Dad. Even though Mummy said you didn't want me anymore, I knew it wasn't true. Julian felt his eyes well up with tears again. How did you know? Because when I closed my eyes, I remembered the smell of your perfume and your voice singing to me before I slept. That night, after everyone had gone to sleep, Julian stayed on the terrace thinking about everything that had happened. A week ago, he was a man destroyed by grief. Now he had his daughter back and a new family that loved him. But there were still pending matters. Patricia needed to answer for her actions. Stella too, and everyone involved in the scheme. His phone rang. It was Mr. Lee. Julian, we managed to locate Patricia. Where is she? In Kuala Lumpur. As the doctor said, she's living with a businessman named Marcus Chu. We got the address. I'm traveling there tomorrow. Julian, perhaps it's better to do this through lawyers. Going personally can complicate things. No, Mr. Lee. I want to hear from her why she did this. I want her to look me in the eyes and explain why she abandoned our daughter. In that case, I'll go with you, and we'll also take a lawyer from Kuala Lumpur. Agreed. Julian hung up and went up to the room. Jiamin was sleeping deeply, hugging Luna, who had climbed onto the bed. He gently kissed her forehead. Dad is going to resolve everything, my love. No one will ever separate us again. The next morning, Julian explained to Jiamin that he needed to travel for a day, but that he would return soon. Are you going to look for Mommy? She asked. I'm going to talk to her. Why? I want her to apologize for lying. The wisdom of an 8-year-old girl surprised Julian. And if she doesn't want to apologize, then she can't live with us anymore. Grandma Lim says that family is who takes care of each other. Julian smiled. Nema, Lim was educating Jiamin about important values. Grandma Lim is right, my love. And you, Lian, and she take care of me, just as I take care of you. And Luna too. And Luna too. Julian traveled to Kuala Lumpur on the 10 a.m. flight, accompanied by Mr. Lee and Mr. Raj, the Kuala Lumpur lawyer. Patricia's address was in an exclusive area of Kuala Lumpur, a gated community with large houses and well-kept gardens. They stopped in front of number 412, a white 2-story house with a silver luxury car in the garage. How are we going to approach this? Mr. Raj asked. Straight to the point, Julian said. I want answers. They rang the doorbell. A domestic helper answered. Good afternoon. We'd like to speak with Patricia. My name. Patricia is out. She won't be back until tonight. It's urgent. Can we wait? I don't know. Better to call beforehand. At that moment, a male voice shouted from inside. Who is Rosalba? A man of about 45 appeared at the door. Tall, well-groomed hair, expensive clothes. Marcus Chu? Mr. Lee asked. Yes. What do you want? We are lawyers. We need to speak with Patricia about a legal process. Marcus looked visibly concerned. What kind of process? Related to the abandonment of a minor, Mr. Raj said. I don't know what you're talking about. We know Patricia lives here. Julian approached. I am Julian Mendoza, her ex-husband and Jiamin's father. Marcus paled. Patricia told me that the child had. Julian pressed him. Had passed away in an accident. That's a lie. My daughter is alive and was abandoned by her mother 2 years ago. Marcus ran his hands through his hair nervously. Where is Patricia now? Mr. Lee insisted. At the shopping mall. But look, I didn't know anything about this. She told me she was a widow, that she had lost her daughter in an accident. And you never suspected? She cried when she talked about the child. She seemed sincere. Marcus. Mr. Raj approached. Are you aware that participating in the abandonment of an incapable person is a crime? I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. In that case, Julian took a photo of Jiamin from his pocket. You wouldn't mind if my daughter came to live here with her mother. Marcus looked at the photo, and his expression changed completely. Look, I can't. I don't have the structure to care for a child. So, you don't accept children in your house? It's not that. It's just that our life here is very busy. We travel a lot for work. It wouldn't be good for a child. Julian understood everything. Marcus didn't accept children, and Patricia chose the relationship instead of her daughter. Which shopping mall is she at? Pavilion, Kuala Lumpur. But look, When she arrives, I'm going to tell her everything. This situation needs to be resolved. We're going to find her at the mall, Mr. Lee said. They headed to Pavilion Kuala Lumpur. Mr. Raj called some contacts and managed to locate Patricia's car in the parking lot. She's here. License plate WYY 9821. They waited near the car. 2 hours later, Patricia appeared carrying several shopping bags. When she saw them, she dropped the bags to the ground. Julian. Hello, Patricia. She was different. Blonde hair, expensive clothes, jewelry. She seemed like a completely new person. What are you doing here? I came for explanations. Explanations for what? For our daughter, for Jia Min. Do you remember her? Patricia looked at the lawyers, then back at Julian. I don't understand. I found her, Patricia. I found our daughter alive at Stella's house. Patricia leaned against the car, as if her legs were going to give out. How is that possible? You know very well how. Why did you do this to me? Why did you do this to our daughter? Julian, I can explain. Then explain. Patricia looked around, seeing people starting to stop and watch the discussion. Not here. Let's go somewhere more private. They went to the food court, to a more secluded corner. Speak, Julian said. Julian, you don't understand how difficult it was for me after the separation. Difficult how? I was alone, without money, taking care of Jia Min. You barely showed up to see her. That's a lie. I picked her up every weekend and paid child support religiously, but it wasn't enough. I wanted to rebuild my life, find someone who loved me. And that's why you abandoned our daughter? It wasn't abandonment, she raised her voice. I left her with Stella temporarily. Temporarily? It was 2 years, Patricia. I was going to get her. When? When the situation was resolved. What situation? Patricia lowered her gaze. Marcus doesn't like children. He said he would only stay with me if I didn't have children. So, you chose him instead of our daughter? It wasn't an easy choice. Of course it was. Julian slammed his fist on the table. You chose money and comfort instead of your own daughter. You don't understand. I was desperate. I couldn't find a job anymore. I was almost evicted. Marcus offered me a new life. And faking Jia Min's situation was part of that new life? It was the only way I found. If I simply disappeared with her, you would have come after me. I needed something definitive. Julian felt nauseous hearing that. Do you have any idea what you did to me? I spent 2 years thinking I had lost my daughter. I'm sorry, Julian, but at that moment it seemed like the best solution. The best solution for whom? For you. And Jia Min. Did you ever think about her? Yes, that's why I left her with Stella. I knew she would be well cared for. Well cared for? Julian stood up. She cried for me every day. She asked why her dad wasn't coming for her. You destroyed our daughter's childhood. Patricia began to cry. I was going to resolve everything, Julian. I swear I was. How? You were going to invent that she had been found alive? That she had lost her memory in the accident? Something like that? And you believed that would work? I don't know. I was confused. Every day that passed, it was harder to go back. Mr. Lee took the floor. Patricia, are you aware that you committed several crimes? Falsification of documents, abandonment of an incapable person, fraud. I didn't want it to be like this, but it was, Mr. Raj said. And now you're going to have to answer for it. What do you want from me? Julian took a deep breath. I want you to come with me to see your daughter. I want you to look her in the eyes and ask for her forgiveness. And then, I want you to sign the definitive waiver of custody. What do you mean? You don't deserve to be her mother. You're going to sign a document renouncing all maternal rights. Julian, she's my daughter too. She was your daughter. You renounced her when you abandoned her. I can't do that. Yes, you can, and you will. Because if you don't, I'm going to sue you for all the crimes you committed. You're going to spend years in jail. Patricia looked at the lawyers, seeking some support. Patricia, Mr. Raj said, Julian is being generous. With the evidence he has, you would undoubtedly be convicted. But if I sign this document, at least I get rid of the processes? Of the criminal processes? Yes, Mr. Lee said. But you'll have to reimburse all the expenses Julian incurred with the investigation and lawyers. How much? About $50,000 so far. Patricia paled. I don't have that money. Marcus does, Julian said. He was the one who benefited from this whole situation. They returned to Marcus's house, who panicked upon hearing the details. Patricia, how could you deceive me like this? Marcus, forgive me. I was desperate. And now, I can also be sued for complicity? Only if you don't cooperate, Mr. Raj said. If you pay the compensation and help resolve the situation, you won't have problems. How much? $50,000. Marcus did some mental calculations. All right, but after this, Patricia, you're leaving my house. What do you mean? You deceived me. I don't want anything more to do with you. Julian almost felt pity for Patricia. She was losing everything. Her daughter, her relationship, her comfortable life. But he quickly remembered Jiamin crying at Stella's house, asking why Dad wasn't coming for her. Patricia, are you coming with us? Or do you prefer that I go for Jiamin alone? I'll go with you. The return trip from Kuala Lumpur was tense. Patricia cried throughout the flight. Julian felt no pity. When they arrived home, it was almost night. Jiamin was in the living room playing with Lian when she saw them enter. Dad, she ran to hug him. Then she saw Patricia and stopped, confused. Mommy? Hello, my love. Patricia knelt down to Jiamin's height. How are you? I'm fine. Why did you leave me at Auntie Stella's house? Patricia looked at Julian, then back at her daughter. Mommy did something very bad, Jiamin, and she came here to ask for your forgiveness. You don't love me anymore? I love you, my love. I will always love you. But Dad takes better care of you than I do. Jiamin looked confused between the two. But now we can all live together. Julian knelt beside Patricia. Jiamin, Mommy is going to live far away now, but you are going to stay here with me, with Lian, and with Grandma Lim. Forever. Forever. Jiamin looked at Patricia. Are you going to visit me? Patricia looked at Julian, who shook his head negatively. Perhaps when you're older we can see each other again. All right, Jiamin said, seeming to accept the situation with impressive maturity. Patricia hugged her for a few minutes, crying. Forgive me, my love. Forgive me for everything. After dinner, while Jiamin played with Lian, Julian and Patricia signed all the documents. She officially renounced all maternal rights. Julian, she said before leaving, take good care of her. I have always cared for her. The problem is that you never saw it. I know I did everything wrong. If I could go back, you can't. And now it's too late. Patricia left the house, and Julian and Jiamin's lives forever. That night, after everyone had gone to sleep, Julian stayed on the terrace, reflecting on everything that had happened in 2 weeks. His life had completely changed. Lian approached. Mr. Julian, can I ask you a question? Of course, Lian. How can you forgive Patricia? Who said I forgave her? But you didn't get angry with her in front of Jiamin. Julian smiled. The boy was very observant. Lian, there are things one does for their children. Showing hatred for Jiamin's mother wouldn't be good for her. I understand. You are a very good father. I'm learning to be better every day. And can I still call you Mr. Julian? How about you just call me Dad? Lian smiled broadly. Dad. Julian. Just Dad. You're my son now, Lian. And I'm Jiamin's brother. Yes, you are siblings. Lian hugged him. Thank you for saving our family. You are the ones who saved mine. In the following months, the new family adjusted perfectly. Jiamin began therapy and slowly overcame her traumas. Lian enrolled in a better school and began to dream of becoming a veterinarian to help more animals like Luna. Nebyem. Lim became the grandmother Jiamin never had. She taught her to cook, told her stories, and gave her life advice. Julian smiled genuinely for the first time in 2 years. His company prospered, and he had energy to work, knowing that he would return home and find love and affection. Luna officially became the family dog and continued to help other people find missing relatives, always accompanied by Lian. A year later, Julian organized a party to celebrate Jiamin's rebirth. He invited all their friends, neighbors, and people who had helped them. Lily, the nurse, attended and personally apologized to Jiamin. Dr. Suresh also came, having become an ally in the fight against the falsification of medical documents. Stella, the woman who cared for Jiamin, was also invited. She had become a kind of aunt to the girl, visiting her regularly. Dad, Jiamin said during the party, can I make a speech? Of course, my love. Jiamin climbed onto a chair and asked for everyone's attention. I wanted to thank everyone who helped me, especially Lian, and Luna who found me, and Dad who never gave up on me, and Grandma Lim, who teaches me important things every day. Everyone applauded emotionally, and I wanted to say that I learned something important. Family is not just those with the same blood. Family is who truly loves us. Julian felt his eyes fill with tears. His daughter had become a wise and strong girl despite everything she went through. At night, after the guests left, the family gathered in the living room. Lian, Julian said, Do you remember when you looked for me in the cemetery? I remember. What made you sure that Jia Min was alive? Luna, Dad. She never makes a mistake. But there was also something in my heart that said Jia Min needed help. And you, Mediam, Lim, didn't you find it strange when Li An came home saying he was going to live in a big house with a businessman? I thought he was dreaming, she laughed. But when I met you, I saw that you were a good-hearted man. And we always knew that Li An had a special gift for helping people. What gift, Grandma? Jia Min asked. The gift of the heart, my child. Some people are born with such a big heart that they cannot see suffering without wanting to help. I want to have that gift too, Jia Min said. You already have it, my love, Julian said. You forgave Mummy even after everything she did. That is having a big heart. And I can help Lian and Luna find other people? When you grow up a little more? Yes. How wonderful. We're going to be a family of heroes. Everyone laughed at Jia Min's innocence. 2 years later, Lian turned 15 and received a motorcycle as a gift to help with searches. Jia Min, now 10, already accompanied him on some simpler investigations. Julian established a foundation to help families going through the same situation he had experienced. The Jia Min Foundation had already reunited dozens of families. Luna became famous in the region and received several honors for her work. Li An became a kind of child consultant for the police in missing persons cases. Midiem Lim, at 73, was more active than ever, coordinating the foundation's work and caring for all the children who appeared there. One morning, Julian received a call that would change their lives again. Hello, Mr. Julian. Sir, this is Commander Tan. I have a case that I think might interest you. Tell me. A1. 2-year-old boy insists that his 5-year-old sister is alive despite having been reported missing a year ago. His story is very similar to Lian's. Julian smiled. What's the boy's name? Dylan. Dylan A. Bring him here to the house. We'll talk to him. Are you sure? Absolutely. Our family always has room for one more child. When Dylan arrived at Julian's house, Lian immediately identified with the boy's story. Dylan, what's your sister's name? Leah. She disappeared when she was returning from school. And you're sure she's alive? Yes. I saw her at the market last week, but when I tried to approach her, a man took her away. Jia Min approached Dylan. Don't worry, Lian and Luna will find your sister. They are the best in the world at that. Julian looked at his new family and felt his heart full of gratitude. Lian had become a responsible and determined young man. Jia Min grew up strong and generous. Mediem. Lim was the grandmother all children deserved to have. And Luna. Luna continued to save families with her incredible sense of smell and her heart of gold. Dylan, Julian said, how about you stay here with us while we look for your sister? Seriously? Very seriously. This house has always been open to whoever needs it. And if we don't find my sister, we will find her, Lian said confidently. And even if it takes time, you'll have a family here. But I don't want a new family, I want my sister. And you'll have your sister, Jia Min said. But you'll also have our family. A person can have several families. Dylan smiled for the first time since he arrived there. That night, during dinner, Julian made a toast. To our family that keeps growing, and to all the families we are yet to reunite. To family! Everyone shouted together. Luna barked in approval, as if she understood perfectly what was happening. 3 weeks later, Luna found Leah in an abandoned shophouse on the outskirts of the city. She was being held by a couple who made her work as a domestic helper in exchange for food. The reunion between Dylan and Leah was emotional. The siblings cried together for hours while the whole family comforted them. Julian, Leah said when she calmed down, Dylan told me you took care of him during the search. That's right. And we're going to keep taking care of both of you if you want. What do you mean? Do you have a place to live? We lived with our aunt, but she drank a lot and hit us. That's why I ran away from home. And Dylan ran away after me, but we got lost. Julian looked at Mebdiem. Lim, who nodded. How about you stay here with us, at least until you get organized? But there are so many of us, we won't bother you? Never, Jia Min said. The more people in the family, the more fun it gets. She's right, Lian said. I arrived here alone, and now I have a dad, a sister, a grandmother, and even a dog. Leah and Dylan agreed to stay. In the following months, Julian's house officially became a temporary home for children at risk. He legalized the situation and transformed part of the house into a kind of shelter. Midiem. Lim, now with the official title of Grandma of the house, coordinated the routine of all the children. Lian and Jiamin helped the younger ones with schoolwork. Luna kept finding people. Julian never imagined his life would take this turn. From a successful but solitary businessman, he had become the father of a large and happy family. One afternoon, while watching all the children playing in the yard, he received an unexpected visit. "Mr. Julian?" a familiar voice called him. He turned and saw a young woman of about 20 at the door. "Yes, my name is Fiona. Fiona Garcia. I heard you help find missing people." Julian invited her in. Something about her name sounded familiar. "How can I help you?" "I'm looking for my younger brother. His name is Lian, but everyone calls him Lee." Julian felt his heart race. Lian? Lee, Anne, appeared at the living room door, having heard the conversation. "Fiona!" The siblings ran to each other and hugged, crying. "Lian, my brother, I looked for you everywhere. Fiona, I knew you were alive. I knew it." Julian witnessed the emotional scene. The circle was closing. "Where have you been all this time?" Lian asked his sister. "I got a job in an inland town. I lived there for 2 years, saving money to come back to Singapore and look for you." "And why did you run away from home?" "Our mother's boyfriend. He used to hit me. I ran away to protect myself, but I never wanted to leave you." "It's okay, Fiona. We're together now." Fiona looked around and saw all the children watching. "Lian, what is this place?" "It's our house. Dad Julian takes care of us." "Dad Julian?" Fiona looked at Julian with affection. "He adopted me when I was alone. He gave me a family. And now?" Fiona seemed worried. "He'll let me stay too?" "Fiona," Julian said, "a person who trained Lian to be as good and generous as he is will always have a place in our family." "What do you mean?" "Lian told me that it was you who taught him to help other people, that you said when one has a gift, they have to use it to do good." Fiona smiled through tears. "He remembered that?" "I remember everything you taught me, Fiona, and I use it every day." "Fiona," Jiamin said, approaching, "you're going to be my sister too, if you accept me." "Of course we accept you," all the children shouted in unison. MDM. Lim approached and hugged Fiona. "Welcome to the family, my dear." That night, during dinner, Julian looked around the large table he had ordered to accommodate the whole family. There were now 12 people. Him, Jiamin, Lian, Fiona, Medem, Lim, Leah, Dylan, and 5 other children who had arrived in recent months. "Kids," he said, "I want to make an announcement." Everyone stopped eating and looked at him. "I decided to officially adopt all the children in the house. You are going to be legally my children." The silence lasted a few seconds. Then, the table erupted in shouts of joy and applause. "Seriously, Dad?" Lian asked. "Very seriously. I've already spoken with the lawyer. It's just a matter of paperwork." Can we choose our names?" one of the younger children asked. "What do you mean? Can I be called Jiamin Mendoza too?" Julian looked at Jiamin, who nodded enthusiastically. "Of course, you are all going to be Mendozas." "Lian Mendoza!" Lian shouted. "Fiona Mendoza! Leah Mendoza! Dylan Mendoza!" Everyone shouted their new names euphorically. "And Luna?" Jiamin asked. "She's going to be Luna Mendoza too," Julian laughed. "Luna is family too." Luna barked as if approving the decision. 2 years later, the Jiamin Foundation had grown exponentially. Julian had left his original company and was dedicated full-time to social work. The main house had been expanded and could now accommodate up to 20 children. Lian, now 17, was officially a tracking dog trainer. Jiamin, at 12, was already handling simple lost children cases by herself. Fiona, at 22, was studying psychology to help families going through trauma. Leah was studying law to defend cases of abandoned children. Dylan wanted to be a journalist to tell stories of overcoming adversity. MDM. Lim, at 75, had become a respected figure in the community and received several honors for her social work. Luna, now an 8-year-old lady, had officially retired, but still accompanied the foundation's activities. Her 3 puppies, Hope, Faith, and Miracle, were now the official dogs of the organization. One morning, Julian received a call that surprised him. "Hello, Julian, it's Patricia." Julian felt his stomach churn. He hadn't spoken to his ex-wife in 3 years. "What do you want, Patricia?" I want to talk to you and Jiamin." "No, please, Julian. I know I don't deserve it, but I need it very much." "Need what?" "Forgiveness." Julian hesitated. Jiamin always asked about her mother, especially when she saw other children with their biological families. "Where are you?" "In Singapore." I'm going through a difficult time." What kind of time? Marcus left me. He found out I also lied about other things. I'm alone and sick. Sick with what? Stomach cancer. The doctors say I don't have much time left. Julian felt a mixture of compassion and anger. What exactly do you want? I want to apologize to Jiamin and to you. I want to make amends before I pass on. Patricia. This can confuse Jiamin. Please, Julian. It's the last favor I ask of you. Julian thought of Jiamin, who despite everything, always asked if her mother was well. I'll talk to her. If she wants to see you, you can come here. Thank you, Julian. That night, Julian spoke with Jiamin about her mother's call. Is she sick? The girl asked, worriedly. Yes, seriously ill. It seems so. And she wants to see me, she wants to apologize in person. Jiamin thought for a few minutes. Dad, Grandma Lim always says that one has to forgive people so as not to carry a heavy heart. It's true. Then, I want to see Mummy, but you stay by my side. I will always be by your side, my love. The following Sunday, Patricia appeared at the front door. Julian barely recognized her. She was very thin, with gray hair, simple clothes. Hello, Julian. Hello, Patricia. Come in. Jiamin was in the living room, nervous. When she saw her mother, she ran to hug her. Mommy, my beautiful daughter, Patricia cried. How you've grown. You're very thin, Mummy. Are you eating well? Jiamin's innocence touched Julian's heart. They talked for hours. Patricia apologized several times and explained that she now understood how much she had been wrong. Jiamin, do you forgive me for abandoning you? I forgive you, Mummy, but promise you won't do it again. I promise, my love. But perhaps Mummy will have to leave soon. Where to? Julian intervened. Jiamin, Mummy is very sick. It may be that she goes to heaven soon. Jiamin understood immediately. Her eyes filled with tears. Mummy is going to leave like Grandpa did? Perhaps, my love. Then I want Mummy to stay here with us until she leaves. That way we take good care of her. Julian looked at Patricia, who was crying profusely. Patricia, do you want to stay here? We have a guest room. Would you do that for me? After everything I did? Jiamin wants you to stay, and I'm not going to deny that to my daughter. Thank you, Julian. Thank you. Patricia's last 3 months were the most important in Jiamin's life. She finally got to know her mother for real, without lies or ulterior motives. Patricia redeemed herself by caring for the other children in the house when her health allowed. She told stories, helped with homework, and shared her life experience. Lian and she had several conversations about forgiveness and second chances. Fiona helped her process the guilt she felt. MDM. Lim welcomed her like a daughter. When Patricia passed on, she was surrounded by love and forgiveness. Jiamin was by her side, holding her hand. Mummy, I love you. I love you too, my angel. I always loved you. That's why it hurt so much when I hurt you. It didn't hurt, Mummy, because in the end, everything turned out well. I got my dad back, I gained a big family, and I also got you back. You are a very wise child, Jiamin. Grandma Lim taught me that people make mistakes because they are suffering inside, and that one has to help them stop suffering. Your Grandma Lim is very wise. Mummy, when you get to heaven, tell my grandpa that I sent him a kiss. Of course, my love. Patricia closed her eyes for the last time, holding the hand of the daughter she had abandoned and recovered. The funeral was simple, but full of love. The whole family was present, including the children from the foundation and the people Patricia had helped in recent months. Jiamin gave an emotional speech. My mummy made many mistakes in life, but she also got one thing right. She gave me life, and it was that life that brought me to my dad, to my family, to all of you. That's why I'm grateful for everything that happened. After the funeral, life returned to normal in the Mendoza household, but there was a different peace in the atmosphere, as if all wounds had finally healed. Julian, now 48, looked at his life and felt immense gratitude. From a solitary and bitter man, he had become the father of dozens of children and founder of an organization that had already reunited hundreds of families. Lian, about to turn 18, had decided to study veterinary medicine with a specialization in training rescue animals. Jiamin, at 13, was already talking about following in her brother's footsteps. Fiona, at 22, graduated in psychology and opened a practice at the foundation itself. Leah passed the admission exam for law. Dylan was studying journalism to tell stories of overcoming adversity. MDM. Lim, at 76, was writing her memoirs with Dylan's help. The book would be sold to raise funds for the organization. Luna, now a 9-year-old lady, had officially retired but still accompanied the foundation's activities. Her 3 puppies, Hope, Faith, and Miracle were now the official dogs of the organization. One morning, Julian received a call that surprised him. "Hello, Mr. Julian. This is Manuel. Do you remember me?" Julian thought for a few seconds. Manuel from the bakery in my old estate." "Exactly, sir. I saw a report about you on television yesterday. What pride." "Thank you, Manuel. Sir, I called because I have a grandson who disappeared 2 weeks ago. The police can't find him. Could you send the address?" "We'll go today." Julian called Lian and Jiamin. "Kids, we have a new case." "Where, Dad?" Jiamin asked. "In my old estate." "It's Manuel from the bakery." "The Manuel who always greeted you when you went to visit the cemetery?" Lian asked. "The same." "Then let's go now," Jiamin said. "He was always kind to our family." They took Hope, the most experienced of Luna's offspring, and headed to the estate. Manuel received them in tears. "Mr. Julian, thank you very much for coming." Tony disappeared when he was playing at the Void Deck playground. He's only 6 years old. Where was he last seen? At the playground on the corner. Do you have any of his unwashed clothes? I have the shirt he wore the day before. Hope smelled the shirt and immediately showed interest. She found something, Lian said. Hope, search. The dog led them through several streets, stopping occasionally to sniff. After an hour, she stopped in front of an old house. It's here, Lian said. Are you sure? Hope only stops like this when she's sure. They knocked on the door. A woman. Good afternoon, ma'am. We are looking for a missing child. There's no child here. But at that moment, a child's voice shouted from inside. Grandma, can I play in the yard? Tony, Julian shouted. Tony, it's Grandpa Manuel who sent us to look for you. Grandpa Manuel? The boy appeared running. Where is he? He's at home waiting for you, champ, Jiamin said, crouching down to the child's height. The woman tried to prevent Tony from leaving, but Lian gently stopped her. Mom, can you explain why this child is here? He was lost on the street. I was just taking care of him for 2 weeks without notifying the family. I didn't know who to look for. Julian took Tony in his arms. Are you all right, champ? Yes. Grandma Helen gave me food and let me watch television. Why didn't you go home? She said Grandpa Manuel had traveled and would come for me when he returned. Julian looked at the woman, who lowered her gaze. Mediem. Helen. The family is desperately looking for him. I just missed having a child at home. My grandchildren live far away. They never visit me. Julian felt compassion for the woman. MDM. Helen, how about you visit our foundation? We have many children who would love to have a loving grandmother like you. Seriously? Very seriously. But first, we have to take Tony back to Grandpa Manuel. The reunion between Manuel and Tony was emotional. The old man cried with relief as he hugged his grandson. Mr. Julian, how can I? You don't need to thank us, Manuel. We're lifelong neighbors. And Midiem, Helen, what's going to happen to her? We're going to help her too. She just missed having family nearby. A week later, MDM. Helen was at the foundation helping with the younger children and feeling useful again. Tony visited her regularly, calling her Grandma Helen. Julian watched all this and reflected on how life had become a chain of kindness. A lost child had generated a family. That family had multiplied into dozens of other families. And now, those families were spreading love throughout the country. One afternoon, he was on the terrace of the house, watching the children play, when Jiamin approached. Dad, can I ask you a question? Always, my love. Do you regret anything in your life? Julian thought for a few seconds. No, Jiamin, not even the bad moments. Because it was through them that I learned to value the good ones. Not even the time you were sad, thinking I was gone? Not even that, because it was that time that made me understand how important you are to me. And do you think Mummy regretted abandoning me? I think so. In her last months here, I saw that she understood how much she had been wrong. Dad, sometimes I think about her and I don't feel angry. Why? Because if she hadn't done that, perhaps we would never have found Lian. And without Lian, we wouldn't have found all the other children. And Grandma Lim wouldn't have a big family. And Luna wouldn't be famous. Julian smiled at his daughter's wisdom. So, you think everything happened for a reason? I think so. Grandma Lim always says that God makes bad things turn good when we have faith. And do you have faith? Yes. Faith in our family. Faith in our work. Faith that we are going to help many people still. Julian hugged Jiamin. I also have faith in you, in our family, in our future. Dad, yes. Thank you. Why? For never giving up on me. Thank you, my love, for making me a better person. That night, During the family dinner, Julian announced that he had made an important decision. "Everyone, I'm thinking of writing a book telling our story." "What a great idea," Leah said. "But I want everyone to help. Lian will talk about the work with the dogs. Jia-min about what it's like to be a lost child. Fiona about the psychological aspect. Leah about the legal part. And me, Dad?" Dylan asked. "You're going to help write. You're a journalist. You know the writing techniques best." "And Grandma Lim?" Jia-min asked. "Grandma will talk about life wisdom and how to build a family of the heart." "What will the book be called?" Anne wanted to know. Julian thought for a moment. "Sir, your daughter is alive. The story of how Aliyah transformed into love." "Perfect. MDM, Lim said. "That's exactly what happened here." 2 years later, the book was released and became a national bestseller. The proceeds from the sales were entirely dedicated to the foundation's expansion. Julian was invited to give lectures at several universities and international events. He always brought a family member along, showing that the work was the result of a union. The Jia-min Foundation had already reunited more than 1,000 families and directly assisted 3,000 children. The method developed by Li An and the dogs was being studied by universities and adopted by several organizations around the world. On the 10th anniversary of Julian and Jia-min's reunion, they organized a big party at the foundation's headquarters. Hundreds of families who had been reunited by the organization attended. Authorities, journalists, volunteers, and donors were also present. Julian went on stage to give a speech. 10 years ago, I was a man destroyed by the pain of loss. I believed my life had ended. Today I look at this audience and see hundreds of families reunited, thousands of happy children, dozens of young people dedicating their lives to helping other people. The audience applauded, but none of this would be possible without some very special people. Li An, who had the courage to approach a desperate stranger in a cemetery. Lim, who taught us that family is who loves, not who has the same blood. And especially Jia-min, who even as a child found the strength to forgive and love unconditionally. Julian paused. Emotional. If there's one lesson I learned in these 10 years, it's that no situation is so bad that it cannot be transformed into something beautiful. No pain is so great that it cannot generate love, and no family is so broken that it cannot be rebuilt. The audience stood up in an ovation that lasted several minutes. Lian went on stage and hugged Julian. "Dad, thank you for believing in me when I was just a child with a crazy idea. Thank you for saving my life, son." Jia-min also went on stage. "Dad, when I was little and lost, I always dreamed that one day you would find me. What I didn't know is that when you found me, we would find a whole family." Fiona, Leah, Dylan, and all the other children went on stage. MDM, Lim, now 83 but still firm, was brought in a decorated wheelchair. "Grandma," Jia-min said into the microphone. "Do you want to say something?" MDM, Lim took the microphone with trembling hands but a firm voice. "I just want to say that I reached 83 years old, thinking my life was ending. But these last 10 years were the happiest of my existence. Because I learned that one does not get old when caring for children. One rejuvenates." The audience laughed and applauded. "And I want to tell all the families present here, you were not reunited by chance. You were reunited by love. And love always finds a way." After the party, the family gathered at home for a more intimate get-together. Julian looked around the living room full of people he loved and felt like the richest man in the world. "Everyone," he said, "I want to do one last thing today." "What, Dad?" Lian asked. "I want to individually thank each one of you." "Dad, there's no need," Jia-min began. "Yes, there is. Lian, thank you for teaching me that courage has no age. Jia-min, thank you for showing me that love always conquers hate. Mediem, Lim, thank you for teaching me that wisdom is conquered with the heart, not with years." Julian turned to his other children. "Fiona, thank you for showing me that forgiveness heals all wounds. Leah, thank you for teaching me that justice is done with miracles, not with revenge. Dylan, thank you for showing me that truth is told with sensitivity." He looked at all the other children in the house. "And you, my children of the heart, thank you for teaching me that family is built every day with small gestures of affection." "And Luna and her puppies?" one of the younger children asked. "Ah, yes," Julian smiled. "Luna, thank you for teaching me that love doesn't need words. Hope, faith, and miracle, thank you for continuing your mother's work with so much love." The 3 puppies wagged their tails as if they understood the gratitude. "Now, me DM," Lim said. "It's time for my thanks. Which one, Grandma? Thank you, God, for giving me a second chance to be happy, and for giving me the most beautiful family an old woman could dream of. Amen, everyone said, together. That night, when all the children had gone to sleep, Julian, Leon, and Jiamin stayed on the terrace chatting. Dad, Leon said, sometimes I still can't believe everything that happened. Why, son? Because when I was a child, I thought I was going to die alone and sad. Now I have a huge family and a job I love. And me, Jiamin said. Sometimes I still dream that I'm at Auntie Stella's house, waiting for someone to come for me. Then I wake up and see that I'm here with you, and I get happy again. Do you know the most incredible thing about all this? Julian asked. What, Dad? It's that our story is still being written. In 10 years, we will have helped many more families. You will be grown adults. Maybe you'll have your own children, and the foundation will be even bigger. And Grandma Lim? Jiamin asked worriedly. Grandma will be here, blessing us and giving advice as always. Dad, Leon said, can I say one thing? Of course. I think my sister Fiona taught me something very important when we were little. What? She used to say that when one has a gift, they have to use it to help other people. Today I understand that my gift wasn't just to find lost people. It was to find you and Jiamin to form our family. And what's my gift, Leon? Jiamin asked. Your gift is to bring peace to people who are suffering. That's why everyone who comes here feels at home so quickly. And Dad's gift? Leon thought for a moment. Dad's gift is to transform pain into love. He took the pain of losing you and transformed it into love for hundreds of children. Julian felt his eyes fill with tears. Thank you, son. That's the greatest compliment anyone has ever given me. Dad, Jiamin said, we could make a tradition. What tradition? Every year, on the day Leon found me, we could come here to the terrace and give thanks for all the good things that happened. I love the idea. Let's call it the Mendoza Family Gratitude Day. And we'll tell stories of people we helped during the year, Leon suggested. Perfect. Our first official tradition. They stayed a little longer in silence, contemplating the stars. Dad, Leon said, do you think somewhere in heaven Luna and Patricia are meeting? Julian smiled at his son's innocence. I think so, and I think they are blessing us. And my sister Fiona is there too? Leon asked. What, Fiona? Jiamin asked, confused. Ah, that's right, you don't know that story, Leon said. When I was little, I had a baby sister who passed away when she was only 6 months old. Seriously? Jiamin became emotional. Seriously, her name was Fiona too. That's why, when my older sister was born, my mummy gave her the same name. What a beautiful story, Julian said. I'm sure all of them are protecting us. Dad, Jiamin said, can I make a confession? Always, my love. Sometimes I miss Mummy. Not the mummy who abandoned me, but the mummy who stayed here taking care of the children in her last months. It's normal to miss, Jiamin. It means you have a good heart. You miss her? I miss the person she became at the end, the person who regretted and tried to mend her mistakes. Leon, Jiamin said, do you miss your life before meeting us? Leon thought for a moment. I miss the hope I had of finding my sister Fiona, but I don't miss being alone. You gave me a family much better than I dreamed of having. Julian looked at his 2 children and felt a deep peace in his heart. Do you know what makes me most proud of you? What? They asked together. It's that despite everything you've been through, you've become generous people full of love. That shows you have a very great inner strength. We learned that from you, Dad, Leon said. And from Grandma Lim, Jiamin completed. No, my children, you already had that within you. I just helped it blossom. In that early morning, when they finally went to sleep, Julian went through the rooms, checking that all the children were well. In Jiamin's room, she slept hugging one of Luna's puppies. In Leon's room, he was still studying, preparing for a canine training congress. In MDM, Lim's room, she slept with a smile on her face. Julian went to his own room and before sleeping, opened the nightstand drawer. Inside, he kept the first photo Leon had taken of the family reunited on the day they found Jiamin. In the photo, everyone was happy but still wary, as if they didn't believe it was real. Now 10 years later, that distrust had transformed into certainty. They were truly a family. Julian put the photo back in the drawer and lay down. Before falling asleep, he made a silent prayer. Thank you for giving me a second chance to be a father. Thank you for showing me that family is who we choose to love. And thank you for teaching me that even the greatest tragedy can transform into the greatest blessing. The next morning, Julian woke up to the sound of laughter coming from the kitchen. He went downstairs and found the whole family preparing a special breakfast. "Surprise, Dad!" Everyone shouted when they saw him. "What surprise is this?" "We decided to celebrate the first Gratitude Day with a special breakfast," Fiona explained. "But Gratitude Day isn't tomorrow." "We couldn't wait," Jiamin said, laughing. "We were too anxious to start the tradition." Julian looked around the abundant table and at the reunited family. Luna 3, Luna's granddaughter, was lying at his feet. MDM. Lim organized the plates with the help of the youngest children. Lian and Fiona chatted about a new foundation project. Leah and Dylan planned an awareness campaign. And Jiamin, his lost and found little girl, coordinated everything with the most beautiful smile in the world. "Everyone," Julian said, emotional. "Can I tell you something?" "Of course, Dad. If I had to live it all again, I would live it exactly the same, because every moment of pain brought me here, and here is the happiest place in the world." "Dad," Lian said, "we prepared a surprise for you." "Another surprise?" "It's a song that Jiamin composed. She wants to sing it to you." Jiamin blushed with embarrassment. "It's nothing special. It's just a simple little song." "Sing, my dear." Jiamin cleared her throat and began to sing with her sweet voice. Once there was a dad who lost his little girl. He cried every day, thinking of her world. A kind-hearted boy said, "Cry no more. She is alive and well, let hope restore." And so, our family began, with much love. Our family grew, a gift from above. Today we are many, but love did not divide. It multiplied, far and wide. Family of the heart, family true, family that love built, anew. When she finished, everyone was crying with emotion. "Jiamin, what a beautiful song," Julian said, hugging his daughter. "It's our official song, Dad. The Mendoza family song. Perfect. Now we are officially a complete family. We have a home, traditions, music, and much miracle." "And dogs," one of the youngest children shouted. "And dogs too," Julian laughed.